Hey everyone, welcome back to my cooking channel. So today I have a remake of my avocado salsa. It's been a long time coming, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and use 3 about medium-sized avocados. Make sure that they are nice and ripe. So I'm gonna cut them all up. Easy, no fancy way, just splitting them in half and checking them, make sure they are good to go. And as you can see, this last little guy here was not in the best of shape, but I still managed to use most of it. So I am going to grab a spoon from my cupboard because I was not prepared. And I'm just going to go ahead and scoop the avocado flesh straight into the blender. No particular way, just scooping it in there. And you know why I'm remaking this recipe? This was one of the very first recipes I posted on my YouTube channel, and I kind of didn't have a recipe for it because with most of my cooking I don't follow a recipe. I just kind of put things together and taste it, and whatever I feel it needs to my personal taste is what I end up adding. So I did make an effort to measure these things out for you, kind of, sort of, to be able to give you more of an exact recipe for you to follow, because I know a lot of you that are watching this, have never made it before, and you kind of want to get it to taste good the very first time you make it. So I decided to remake this video for you guys. So I've said all of that to say this: once you have all of your 3 avocados in the blender, we are going to go ahead and continue by adding the rest of the ingredients. For this particular recipe, I am doing 3 Serrano peppers, so I'm kind of going with the concept of 1 pepper per avocado. If you want it less spicy, by all means use 2, and that should be good. I am cutting up 1 lime, and I'm going to start with half. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the entire half in here, get all of that juice out of there, and I'm going to reserve the other half once I add everything else. And if I feel like that lime flavor is not very pronounced, then I'll go ahead and add either the rest of the other one or just a bit more. You guys will see how I end up doing it at the end of the video. I did 1/4 of a white onion, a nice handful of fresh cilantro, and get all of that in the blender. Next thing that we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and add our seasonings. Very basic stuff, guys. So I'm doing about a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of chicken bouillon, and don't worry about measurements. Full recipe, exact amounts will be in the description bar below, so do not forget to open that up so you can get all the details. So this is garlic powder. I'm going to go ahead add about half a tablespoon of that. And like I said, all measurements will be in the description bar below. Pepper, I'm just adding, a good amount of pepper. I would say about 1/4 of a teaspoon, possibly a bit less. Check the description for the 10th time so you know how much. Here I'm adding the milk. A lot of you freaked out that I added milk on here. I'm adding half of a cup of water. I'm reserving the other half just in case I need it. But a lot of you freaked out at the fact that I added milk to this recipe. And let me tell you, it makes a difference. I'm going to be honest. Start blending here, guys. Blend, blend, blend. It makes a difference. It really just adds a creaminess. It makes it, it keeps the consistency creamy, because that's the consistency of avocados. You add too much water, you kind of remove some of that creaminess. However, it doesn't add too much of taste or flavor. So with that said, if you definitely do not want to add milk, you don't have to. Replace that half of cup with water and you are good to go. So it's okay. I know a lot of you are like, ew, milk, that's gross. Listen, to each his own. You don't want to add milk to my recipe? Don't add milk to my recipe. Guess what? Then it's not my recipe. It's your recipe, so you can adjust it however you want it. I'm taking this spatula here about halfway through just to move everything around, make sure there's no seasoning stuck on the top, and make sure everything's moving nice. As you can see in the blender here, you can still see large specks of cilantro. You know that this is fully blended once you can no longer see any specks of cilantro. It was a little thick once I went in there and stirred it, so I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more of the lime juice. I don't even end up using the entire other half. Just enough. You can tell once you start adding stuff, you can see that the blender is moving a lot smoother and that there's no resistance. And that's what you want. You still want this to be a bit thick, so don't water it down too much. As you can tell here, you can't really see any of the cilantro specks anymore. That's how you know it is fully blended and nice and creamy. So I'm going to, you can see here, you want this to be thick, but you still want it to be able to move, you know, and be somewhat fluid. But it is avocados, guys, so a thick consistency is what we are looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and grab something to pour this in. I end up using a container that is too big for how much I made, but that's okay. You can always transfer it to something smaller once you pour it all in here and you can taste it. At this time, once you taste it and you feel like, oh my gosh, you know, it needs a little more salt, add it directly to the bowl. Add a little more salt and stir it in there and you are totally fine. So this is liquid gold. Do not waste it. Take a spatula and scrape this puppy down, because once you taste this, you will be mad at yourself if you do not take all of it off of the blender, because it is just that good. I don't know if you were able to notice in the beginning of the video, I did save 2 of the avocado pits. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Beautiful, creamy, decadent avocado salsa. So, so good. Yum. And it's nice and spicy. Those serrano peppers were hot, so it is spicy and it's delicious. Back to the avocado pits. Save them, throw them in there. This will keep your salsa fresher for longer and keep it from browning. So that is it, y'all. This is my avocado salsa, new and improved, with actual measurements for you guys so you can accomplish this delicious salsa or dip. You can add this to every and anything. If you love avocados, you are going to love this salsa. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.